Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something that's on everybody's mind right now. In this world just absolutely flooded with AI content, how does a brand actually stay human? Authentic. That's what we're going to figure out.
I mean, think about it. Is your favorite brand actually a robot? It's a real question these days, right? You've probably felt it. That moment you're interacting with a brand online and you're just like, am I talking to a person or a very clever chatbot? That feeling, that disconnect, that's the heart of what we're talking about today. The very real risk of brands losing their soul when automation kicks into high gear.
All right, so here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with the authenticity crisis. Then we'll look at human control versus AI scale. After that, I'll introduce you to something called the brand voice integrity loop. We'll get into how to make AI work for you, and we'll wrap up by talking about that all-important balance between tech and trust.
Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1, the authenticity crisis. Because before we jump into fixing the problem, we really need to understand what's at stake here. Why does a brand's voice matter more than ever, right now?
So everything really begins with this idea of brand identity. This is the foundation. It's kind of like a person's personality, right? It's not just their clothes or their logo, it's their tone of voice, their values, their style. It's the entire package of how they present themselves to the world.
And that flows right into authenticity. Look, if brand identity is the promise a company makes, then authenticity is the proof that they're keeping that promise. It's about being consistent and genuine, time after time. When you feel that authenticity, that's when you start to trust them. And in today's world, that trust is, well, it's everything.
And here's why this matters so much, especially in 2025. First, you've got content saturation. AI has just opened the floodgates, creating this digital tidal wave of noise. Standing out is harder than ever. Because of that, trust has become the key differentiator. We're drawn to brands we feel are real. Plus, we expect that same personality everywhere. On their website, their social media, their emails, it has to be consistent. And here's the kicker. All this automation makes it so easy for a brand's voice to just drift, to become misaligned. It's a huge vulnerability. So that brings us to our next section. Human control versus AI scale. For the longest time, brands managed this stuff by hand, But the old way is really starting to show its cracks in this super fast AI-driven world. Now, don't get me wrong. The traditional way had its perks. You had total creative control, style guides, and teams that just got the brand. But the downsides are becoming deal breakers. It just doesn't scale. It's slow to react. And yeah, it's still prone to human mistakes and personal opinions creeping in. When everything else is moving at the speed of AI, this old model just can't hang. And when you compare it to an AI-assisted approach, the difference is, wow, it's stark. Instead of someone manually reviewing everything, you've got AI doing automated tone checks. Instead of content being limited by how many people you have, AI helps you draft it. Instead of painstaking manual adjustments for Twitter, then LinkedIn, then Instagram, AI can optimize the tone and format for each one just like that. You end up producing way more, way faster, and this is the crazy part, you can actually improve consistency. Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. This brings us to the centerpiece of this whole explainer. It's a smarter way to use AI, a way to get the scale without losing that human touch. It's a framework called the brand voice integrity loop. It's a really simple but powerful four-step loop. Step 1, you define your voice. You get super clear on your tone, your vocabulary, your whole personality. Step 2, you integrate that into your AI. You train your models on your best stuff, your approved content. Step 3 is content generation. This is where you use AI to draft and adapt, and this is key, always with a human in the loop. And finally, Step 4, quality assurance. You review what comes out, use analytics to see how it's landing, and all that learning feeds right back into Step 1, refining your voice. It's a cycle, a system that keeps getting smarter. All right, so a framework is great, but how do we actually use it? Let's get practical. How do we take this from insight into action? The first thing to realize is that AI is an amazing tool for analysis. It's not just about creating content, it's about understanding the landscape. You can use it to map out what your competitors sound like and find those little gaps where you can shine. It's also incredible at spotting what are called authenticity gaps, where your marketing promises don't quite line up with your actual messaging. And maybe most powerfully, it can analyze audience sentiment to figure out how people really feel about your communication style, helping you zero in on what truly builds trust.
So what does this look like day to day for a marketer? Well, you can literally embed your brand guidelines right into your AI tools so they're always on brand from the get-go. You can run a quick AI tone analysis on every single piece of content before it goes out the door. This means you can start crafting these incredibly dynamic, personalized campaigns for different people, but without losing that core consistent voice. Even if you're a global company working across a dozen markets, this helps keep everyone singing from the same hymn sheet.
But how do you know if any of this is actually working? You need to measure it. Think of it like a dashboard with 4 key dials. First is your brand consistency score, basically asking, are we on brand? Second is an audience trust index, which pulls together sentiment and reviews to ask, are people buying what we're selling? Third is sentiment stability. You want to know if your audience's positive feelings are consistent or all over the place. And last, and this one's so important, you watch the engagement versus authenticity trade-off. You've got to make sure you aren't sacrificing your values just to get more likes. Okay, we're heading into the home stretch here. And this last section, balancing tech and trust, might just be the most important part of this entire explainer. Because with all this amazing tech, we have to talk about the big caveat. Look, AI is powerful, but it's not perfect, not by a long shot. It can replicate a tone, sure, but it often misses the nuance, the emotion that makes a message feel truly human. It can sometimes flatten out complex stories, losing all the depth. And it can be a double-edged sword. Optimizing for engagement might actually pull you away from your core brand values. At the end of the day, you have to remember, the AI is only as good as the data and the direction you give it.
And this quote from upGrowth really just nails it. AI can help brands scale their voice, but it cannot replace the human understanding that gives that voice meaning. That's it right there. It's a partnership. The AI provides the scale, but the human provides the meaning.
So, if you take one thing away from this, let it be this. AI should be a safeguard for your brand identity. It should be an amplifier. Think of it as the guardrails that keep you on the road and the engine that helps you go faster. But it is not a substitute for the driver, for the human creativity and the soul at the heart of your brand. And that really leaves us with a big question to chew on. As AI becomes this creative co-pilot in basically everything we do, how are we going to make sure our digital world stays genuinely human? It's something for all of us to think about. Thanks so much for joining me on The Explainer.